Hello and welcome everyone to an awesome game between Llama as Nurgle going up against Grombrindle as Grand Cathay. So the Son of the Mountains match up on the Vampire Forests, and unfortunately for myself, I have been visited by Nurgle. I'm still ill and my back is still injured, but still we move on and we have Nurglings here backed up by Furies in the forest. And we are going to have more Nurglings in the back. So mass vanguard here coming from the forces of Llama. Two more Furies over here on the right hand side. And a nice tight build coming from Grombrindle. Still bringing the Dowie here to Grand Cathay. I love it. So we are going to have mass Jade Warrior Halberds in the front. Good anti-large armor piercing. Good armor as well. Plus that defensive stance can really bring them up to 90 armor, which is rather tanky. In the back we are going to have the double Jade Warrior shields. We're also going to have a Grand Cannon and one of the Crane Gunners. Good snipers here on the battlefield. And of course they have that penetration now, so they can be hitting multiple models. Double units of the Ironhill Gunners in the pockets. We are going to get some really good armor-piercing shotguns. Very cheap as well, and they do also bolster with the Harmony and the majority of the infantry, and then triple of the Peasant Long Spearmen in the rear. For the main pocket, we are going to have the Terracotta Sentinel, 600 armor-piercing weapon strength, of course Unbreakable and Terror, rather handy here on the battlefield. In the sky, we are going to have the Lord of Yang, and she's going to be on a Great Longmar. Here with the Jade Amulet, as well as the Arcane Conduit, with the Strength of Yang and the Will of the Dragons. We're also going to be here with the spells of the Dragon's Breath, the Jade Shield, and then also the scales of the Celestial Court. Bit of an interesting one there, the last one. Nurgle do have, I believe, some of the most abundant magic damage, so I don't know how that's going to be so useful. For the main battle forces, we are going to be having Platoads here in the back, bringing the Toadjitsu to the battlefield. These bad boys are cheaper, I believe 50 gold cheaper, and, you know, of course, still one of my favourite. I absolutely love seeing them on the battlefield. Hibbity hobbity, they're coming here to claim their property with 3 units of the Forsaken. Make that 4 here, and of course, they're going to be backed up by the hero of the Cultists of Nurgle. Now, he's going to be on foot. We are going to have the Icon of Eternal Virulence, which is going to be a nice stage. Once we reach stage 3, we actually stay at stage 3. So it's going to be negative speed, armor piercing, base missile, and base weapon damage, which overall there at a 35-meter radius can be, you know, quite damning over time on top of poison. We're also going to be here with the Gate of Nurgle, with some of the Plague Bearers, very good at getting in the back there and shutting down Grand Cathay. And then we are going to have the Exalted Chungus, here with the Big Bell and the Nurglings in there, having the ride of his life, and the Whips of Skulls. We are going to be having the Pestilence Decay, which is just disgusting in total, with the Arcane Conduit, the Children of Nurgle, and of course that Stench. The spells here are Fleshy Abundance and the Stream of Corruption, very powerful indeed, backed up by Blight Storm, giving that negative 20 melee defense for up to 5 units. So we're going to be charging forward. We'll get quite a few shots here coming to the front. The Brake Chungus is probably going to take quite a bit of damage. Now he's going to smartly come through the trees, and we are going to be holding the position, so we're trying to snipe into the backside here up against the Furies. We actually have Nurglings getting a good early surround here. So good stuff from Llama, and we're going to be holding quite strong in the middle from Grombrindle. Now we do see the Exalted Chungus coming forward. He's going to be still rather healthy. He's going to be moving into the middle. Stream of Corruption down the line of some of the Jade Warrior Halberds is going to be rather nasty indeed. Khan's going to be firing forward. Oh, the big Chungus takes a bit of a flinch here in the backside. He's going to be at 11,600. Still rather chunky indeed. Shots firing forward here. We are going to get the heavy armor piercing of those shotguns, and the Crane Gunners really ripping through the Forsaken. Furies in the pocket, they're going to be compromising all sorts of tools. Furies are very, very cost efficient at 550. So they're going to be shutting down Jade Warrior Crossbows, they're going to be shutting down the Lord Choice Crane Gunners, you name it, anything in the middle here, they're going to be taken down rather quickly. So the Forsaken, and it's like a Dragon's Breath here down the line, doing some good work up against the mass Forsaken. We are going to get here, a Stream of Corruption that should catch the backside there. Yeah, very nice damage up against the Jade Warrior Crossbows. Peasant Long Spearmen, they're going to be holding here up against the Nurglings. Nurglings actually do pretty good. Of course, they do count as infantry sides. But here we go. We do have the Platoads in, and they're going to be bouncing around, moving all this infantry and just disrupting the force of Grombrindle. We do see the Furies kind of, you know, having a bit of a sandwich effect, a bit of a hammer and anvil tactic here, as the Platoads are just going to be hopping all over the backside. There's just nothing the infantry can do up against such sheer mass. In the sky, we are going to have Furies with fecundity on them here. Looks like it is going to be the law passive going forward, as we get a bit of healing here on the entirety of the force of Nurgle. Now we are going to get Forsaken in the pocket, backed up here by the great Exalted Chungus, and there's not too much to shut him down. Terrifying here in the backside of the Peasant Long Spearmen. The Grand Cannon is going to be breaking, and the majority here of the Rachels are going to get overwhelmed by Nurgle. On the left-hand side, we do get the summon here of the Plague Bearers. They're going to be thumping in the pocket up against the Jade Warrior Crossbows, and another Stream of Corruption here coming down the line of the Peasant Long Spearmen. And they'll do okay, but definitely want to get these on the Plague Toads. So we do have the Sentinel. He's going to be chasing in the back. Wouldn't mind seeing him getting his nice big scythe here into the backside of the big Exalted Chungus. But the Furies here, they probably want to get around and start chasing off some of the Iron-Held Gunners and the Grand Cannon troops. In the middle, looks like we are going to have the Jade Shield activated and then Blight Swarm on top. So damage resistance backed up here by a reduction in melee defense means he will take less damage, but he'll get hit certainly more often. 60 melee attack with poison here going down on the Terracotta Sentinel. He's going to be down to 511 weapon strength, mostly armor piercing. So he'll be shredding through here. Also, that magic damage is going to circumvent the physical resistance of the Exalted Chungus. So it's going to be a pretty even fight here. So we are going to get some healing as well. It looks like we are probably, there we go, Fleshy Abundance, just the regular one there, 1.6%, which is still going to be rather huge indeed. Dragon's Breath down the line here of the Forsaken, really trying to whittle down some of those heavily armored infantry units. And in the front, we are still going to be holding with the Jade Warrior Halberds. We don't have the Cultist in. He's going to apply some armor sundering, which is always rather handy. Forsaken getting charged and backed up here by the Plague Toads. Tojitsu going to be throughout the battlefield here, doing excellent work indeed. Halberds going to be cleaving through the cheap Nurglings here on the side, but they're going to be keeping them busy. And the Halberds really need to get the back here and start fighting up against the Chungus. He's going to be going rather well. We do see a healing cap coming out of him. Fecundity has been activated there. The second law passive, of course, the more damage Nurgle take, the more of those triple abilities they can use here on the battlefield. Dragon's Breath down the line. That will do okay here up against Furies. Not really too much up against the Plague Toads. And looks like the Forsaken here, they're going to be wrapping themselves. What's this going to be in the back here? Can't quite see. It looks like it's going to be a unit of... Oh, it's going to be the Lord Choice. It's going to be stuck there in the middle. She's not having a great time getting surrounded by mass, which is what's so good about the Plague Toads. They have good mobility, poison, magical damage, anti-infantry, and just that mass is so good in the middle. Let's look, it's going to be an overcast here on the Terracotta. The only way really back into the game is taking down the Exalted Chungus, but he gets his big whip there and the bell through against the Terracotta Sentinel. He's using that blade to try and take down the Exalted Chungus, but he's going to be mostly an anti-infantry model, and he's going to be doing okay up against the Chungus here, I must say so, and that upgraded Jade Shield is going to be rather nice here. Both fighting rather nicely, 8,600 there for the Chungus, and 4,800 for the Sentinel. And it looks like there it is going to be put out for Grombrindle, and an excellent performance coming from Llama. I must say, if you really want to see how to break down a box, this is a perfect example. That layered build there, the onion build coming from Grand Cathay, that Grombrindle is so known for having an excellent onion build, was expertly and tactically taken down here by Llama. Of course, both of these legends do both play for Son of the Mountains. Llama is going to be one of my short beards, and Grombrindle is an absolute legend in the community. So what a fantastic game here between both of them. Thank you very much, Llama, for sending this one in. So 2,200 there for the Exalted Chungus, 130 for the Cultists of Nurgle, with 570, 500, 1,200, and 450 for the Forsaken. 450, 316, 360 for the Plague Toads, with 91, 430, 850, and 400 for the Chaos Furies. Nurglings coming in at 130, 350, and 180. And yeah, a very, very good force indeed. It really got round and shut down all those key units. And this is where I think that Crane Gunners just can't be brought up against factions that have cheap flying forces such as Furies. They're just such a nightmare, and they just don't have much armor. Their melee defense capabilities at 18 is just not strong, and just anything that can kind of, circumvent any kind of melee troops and get over the top and straight into the middle without any slows is rather painful to deal with. You certainly need mass infantry in the way of Peasant Long Spearmen to be pulling your ranged troops through, so we can, certainly tie up a lot of these flying forces. So for the Lord of Yang, we're going to get 1,200 damage, 1,400 for the Terracotta Sentinel, so okay performances here, with 323 there for the Crane Gunners. I do certainly prefer Ying Caster here, and certainly with the Ying Caster you can be bringing the Ancestral Warriors. They do come with magic damage, and they are going to have an anti-large armor-piercing element to them. The armor-piercing not so important here for Nurgle, but the bonus of large certainly is quite nice with magic damage. You can take down Plague Toads, Pox Riders, Exalted Chunguses, and you name it. These bad boys certainly are good anti-large armor-piercing snipers. 1,000 damage value there for the Grand Cannon. Only 320 for the Crane Gunners, but 300, 700, 600, 280, and 500 for the Halberds. 200 and 275 there for the Jade Warrior Crossbows, with 200 and 260 for the Iron-Held Gunners. 104, 130, and 300 there for the Peasant Long Spearman. And I can't help but think that maybe this was just a little bit too much range. I like the Grand Cannon. It could really be a good counter here against all of the big Exalted Demons. And yeah, Iron gunners are quite nice and cheap, and you probably don't mind if they get compromised. But of course, having the Jade Warrior crossbows is rather decent. They have a good element of tank to them and resilience, which means if they do get hopped on by cheap flyers, you can certainly put them out from infantry, and they're not going to break rather easily. So maybe even coming with some more elite ones. So if we brought the Celestial Dragon crossbows, maybe that could be something to think about in the future. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please smash that like button. Feel free to leave a comment down below and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, of course, I have promised live streams, and you guys have been asking me. I'm really sorry, my back is still injured. I'm still very, very ill. So once I am healed and I'm better, I promise we'll be getting more of the live streams going as soon as possible. So I've been your boy Logic. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all very, very soon.